Hello, my name is Ramaz and welcome back to my channel. First of all, I would like to thank you for your subscriptions and for liking my videos. I really appreciate that, and if you haven't done it yet, please hit that red button right there and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss new and upcoming very interesting inspirational stories and some great interviews that are coming very soon. Today I'm gonna start first of a few videos that will be related to each other because it's a longer story and I don't want to take your time and make like 20 or 30-minute video, but this is about the journey I started in 2005 and really changed my life because I have always been interested in NASA, and I have always been interested in United States Air Force. I wanted to know more about the rockets and American planes, and maybe because I was growing up in Soviet Union, maybe, but also growing up in Soviet Union, you couldn't really ask questions about United States Air Force or the space shuttle because they would start looking at you suspiciously. Why are you interested about that? So if I wanted to learn something, that was pretty much impossible because we had this thing. It's called Great Soviet Encyclopedia, and everything that was in it was actually created the way Soviet government wanted us to know. And so there was not much about US Air Force or NASA or their research, and of course it wasn't upgradable. It was whatever it was right there. So yeah, it was very limited, very Soviet, very closed, and so I always wanted to learn more about all these subjects. And in 2000, I got very lucky. The person whose name is Jim Lowe and his wife Susan Bannon, they are like my American parents. They pretty much changed my life. They sponsored my education in the United States, in Seattle, Washington. And then that's how I started fulfilling all this need that I had to learn more about everything I wanted. And then of course internet was available then, and I started researching. I was learning and reading all about planes and aircraft designers and spacecraft, you name it. And so one day I was reading about some aviation stuff and I stumbled upon the name Alexander Kartveli, and well, in translation, word Kartveli means Georgian. If someone, Georgian person, asks me, what's your nationality? I'm gonna answer Kartveli because Kartveli means Georgian. And of course I stopped. I wanted to know who is Alexander Kartveli, and I found out that he was a Georgian person. His real name was Alexander Kartvelishvili. Like my name is Ramaz Bluashvili, his name was Alexander Kartvelishvili. But he lived by the name Alexander Kartveli all his life. And I'm a documentary filmmaker, so I decided, hey, listen, why don't I combine two of my passions, aviation, space, and documentary, and make a documentary, make something about this person. And I was really excited, so I jumped in the internet at front of the computer. I started researching, and then was like, whoa, there was not much about him. It was like few sentences on Wikipedia, and that's pretty much it. I'm talking about his personal life. Of course, there was so much about his airplanes. Like if I can tell you right now, several airplanes. His first airplane, the successful airplane, was P-35 Lancer, and then P-47, the legendary P-47 Thunderbolt, F-84 from the Korean War, F-105, and then he even had a hand, not designing, but he was like a honorary designer, whatever you want to call. He was also working on A-10 design, and because of respect to him, and because of the legendary name of P-47 Thunderbolt, A-10 was named A-10 Thunderbolt II. And so that's like a little detour from what I was saying. And so in the beginning, it was nothing. I had nothing to work with. What are you talking about? The documentary, there's no information. So I was like, all right, well, I need to find out who the person was. And that's when my journey started. Recently I actually got interested to find out, and apparently I wrote the first email about my research in August 2005. So, what, 17 years ago. And there we go. I started researching, and that research took me to unbelievable places. You name it. That research took me to Pentagon. It took me to the United States Air Force, NASA, and then pretty much every big museum, the aviation museum and archive in the United States. I met so many amazing people, who were so appreciative what I was doing, because I was telling them, hey, listen, I'm a young Georgian man who is trying to find out more about Alexander Kartveli. He was a Georgian-American aircraft designer. And it was fun, it was exciting, it was sometimes very difficult, because I lived in Orlando, Florida then, and I worked for a company called Theater Magic, and the person who owned the company, Attilio Sisofo, he's a great friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. And see, I would never forget how he appreciated what I was doing. I mean, normally, managers and owners don't just let you go wherever you want, but when Attilio found out what I was doing, he would say, hey, listen, Ramaz, if you need to go somewhere, whether it's New York or Houston, just let me know a few days before and I'll take care of it. I'll let you go and I'll replace you here at the company. And he did it all the time, and I'm so thankful to him for that. And that research was like an adventure for me. Years and years of going places. Someone would write to me a letter because they'll find me online or something. Hey, listen, we have this photograph. Sometimes I would go for one photograph or one document, I don't know, thousands and thousands of miles away just to get it, and it was so excited. And I remember when you go into an archive, they let you copy most of the stuff, but then you have to pay for everything. And I had to save money to make sure I was copying, and then I had enough money to copy and get some necessary material. So I was, of course, saving up on my food, like one hot dog a day and things like that. It was difficult, but when I look back today, and when I look at the legacy that I brought to Georgia, when I look at these enormous amounts of documents and the pictures and letters, you name it, that were hidden away. It was hidden because, well, Alexander Kartveli, if you look at material that I already brought, and most of them are online now, and with Richard Rubin we created this, a friend of mine, we created Alexander Kartveli Association. Steve Johnson, another brother of mine, he introduced me to Richard, and we created this Alexander Kartveli Association. And then we kind of curated all the materials I found over the years. Though everything that I brought to Georgia was hidden away. And when you look at this, the newspaper articles, the magazine articles from Life magazine, the Time magazine, New York Times, you name it, they all say that Alexander Kartveli was a Russian aircraft designer. Yeah, because Georgia was hidden under the Soviet curtain, Iron Curtain, if you want to name it that way. And then they tried not to promote Georgia, of course. That was the idea. Soviet Union was the one country and that's it. And so, yeah, he was always named as Russian. And then now I managed to change it. I told so many Americans that some of the most legendary aircraft, the US Air Force aircraft, were not designed by Russian. It was designed by a Georgian guy. By the way, Alexander Kartveli has never been to Russia. He has no connections to Russia. Although Russians even wrote a book that he was Russian. That's so funny, that's how they do it. But no, my friends. Alexander Kartveli was Georgian. His name means Georgian. He has no connections with Russia whatsoever. So yes, your great planes such as P-35, P-47, F-84, F-105, parts of the A-10, and some of the X-planes that didn't make it but are still, legendary, or designed by Alexander Kartveli, a Georgian-born genius. And in next few videos, I am going to tell you more about Alexander Kartveli, more about my research, what I brought to Georgia, and I hope you appreciate it, because at the end of the day, he never was able to come to home. He left in 1919, and he died in Long Island, New York, in the age of 77 in 1974. He has never been able to come to Georgia because of the Soviet Union. He would never be able to come here, and he would, even if he did, he would never be able to leave back to the United States. And the family had no contact, because if the family ever contacted him and written a great letter or anything, KGB will arrest family members here. So it's an incredible story of one side and the success on the other side. Great sadness that he was not able to be in communication with the family and his beloved country, Georgia. So yes, in future videos I'll tell you more about it. Today I just wanted to give you the summary of those, about what those videos will be. And so again, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.